liver. Yeah. Okay. I'm curious about liver 2. Any pain here?
No.
Any discomfort? Okay. How about kidney 2?
No.
How about spleen 2?
No.
Okay. Spleen 2 on this side, liver 2 on this side,
No.
kidney 2 on this side.
No.
Okay, no problem. So, so my liver 1 is, otherwise I can't really use liver 1 if she has liver 2, because it showed as if it's deficient. Oh, by the way, in the neck, do you have anything 1, 2, 3?
Yeah.
Which ones? 2
3.
and 3? For 3, okay. So that C3 on the back, on the right side, also relates to the liver. Okay, because C3 is where the phrenic nerve comes from, okay, and the phrenic nerve controls the diaphragm. If there's something weird in the liver, it can press on the diaphragm, and it sends a signal back to C3. So a typical liver, neck, somebody who comes with neck pain and says it's exactly here. It's an exact spot. It's not like spread out. And it's right-sided. That's a typical liver sign. Okay, so I'm just going to bend this leg for a second. So we're talking about, we may not be able to do that. You had uterus
Yeah.
and ovary.
Yeah.
I'm curious right now if ovary, is it any better?
Yeah.
By percentage, how much better is it? 0 means there's nothing left.
It goes
And 10
back to nothing, like.
To nothing, okay.
Yeah.
How about is the uterus going to nothing?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We know that this is good. Now, how about this one that I'm thinking lung or whatever?
Yes.
Gone, okay. Now we can bend. How is 1, 2, and 3?
3 is there.
Okay, but 1 and 2 are gone.
Yeah.
But 3 is there, okay. How is, it's here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How's that now?
Yeah, it's better.
How much?
It's gone.
Okay, did you see her eyes? That's what I'm talking about. When they go, oh, wow, it's better. That's the effect that you want. Because now she's kind of, okay, you've been bullshitting me for I don't know how long. No, I mean, okay, with a patient I don't do it quite like that. It's a lot faster, but you're messing with my abdomen. What the hell do you want from me? And now they go, okay, I get it. It's that, wow, I get it, that makes them your patient. That kind of person comes back because they saw something, even if the symptoms don't get better necessarily after one treatment or whatever, they can now trust that, yeah, something's moving here. They can tell it's moving. You talk to them about chi and blah, blah, and blah, blah, and blah, blah, and blah, blah, and they're going, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, all right. So I know liver 1, and since it's primarily, I'm more interested in doing moxa on this, I'm going to leave it alone for a second. So,
can you just maybe I missed it with the charging, just summarize why liver 1?
Oh, originally she had, because if liver 1, originally we started with she has liver, and it was not excess. She didn't say sharp pain. For deficiency, liver 1 is my point.
Okay.
Now, if liver 1 is the point for her, in other words, if it's the root, I'm going to start checking it against things that are unrelated. For example, what's unrelated? Clearly, ovary should be cysts in the ovary. First of all, ovary belongs in the kidney channel because it's ovary. It's hormonal. Number 1. Number 2, so cysts belong in liver 8 category for me. Liver 8 is my cyst point. So the fact that liver 1 has an influence, all I did was I confirmed that liver 1 is a point that fixes a whole bunch of things. Now, as a slow pulse person, liver 1 is not my favorite point it's a great point for rapid pulse. People with autonomic nervous system disorders and rapid pulse, liver 1 is a fabulous point for. So first of all, I want to wait and find more things. Plus, if I just do liver 1, okay, I'm not one of those people, 1 needle, $75, bye-bye. No, patients hate that, 1 needle, you should charge me less, kind of thing. But also it's a question of insurance. What happens if I'm wrong? So what I'm going to do now, so I found that, okay, liver 1's an important point. I'm not starting there yet. I want to, let me discover more. So I know about, by the tight here, right? Yeah. Come feel. Different women will have different, it's okay for them.
Yeah, it's fine, yeah.
Different women, I haven't touched this side. It's a little bit, here too.
Yeah,
But it's different. You'll feel the different sides are different. Hers is tight. Some women are bumpy. Some people are puffy. It's all different. Just move up.
Just move up.
Like, relax, relax, let me have that.
Yeah.
And you're trying to feel, so if you press too much with the hand, you can't feel. Don't use the hand, use the body to. You're a little light in my opinion. Okay.
What am I feeling?
I don't know. What are you feeling?
What am I trying to I feel smooth to me. I feel
Feel smooth? Okay.
Taut, but
Okay.
smooth.
Okay. Taut. Okay. Taut and tight is the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling tight too.
Thank you. Thank you.
I can only tell you what I feel. I can't possibly
I
tell you what
appreciate
you're feeling. No, lower on the kidney channel. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, you're a little bit light. You're tense in the hand, relax the hand. Okay, put your hand on mine. Okay, don't push on my hand, just put your hand on mine. Yes, good, okay. Now, feel my hand. I'm not tensing my hand. Do you see what what you're doing is you're doing this.
Yeah.
You're trying too hard. So my hand is light and I'm moving into my hand from my body. I'm sending my body into my hand and then I can feel. So, don't overdo it.
Sorry.
It's okay, it's okay. Move the shoulder in it. Yeah. Do you feel now?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Let me take that. Yeah? Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, there's pressure, but the pressure is not coming
Yeah.
from the hand. It's coming from your body, and you're letting the fingers feel whatever they feel. Because if you press too much, it's difficult. Make sense? All right. So now what I want to do is a few things. Polycystic ovary, first of all, I have to treat pituitary. Secondly, I didn't find the reflex, but I will find the reflex most likely on the occiput. So let's start with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Okay, other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here maybe?
Where were you starting when
So
you
just
started
like,
your one?
I start like I do
Down.
16. No, and I'm going outwards. On the-
Oh, you're going out to the next
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So you have this one here,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Can you bend this leg for me? Because I'm not long enough to do this. Okay, UB66 is our hormonal balancing point, okay? So, how's 5 now?
It's fine. My toe hurts.
Hmm?
My toe hurts more.
What?
Sticking his fingers
The
through.
toe
Where
hurts.
do you press?
Where you're pressing.
Oh, the toe hurts. Forget the toe. You did say, by the way, can you fix my toes? So, okay. Now, if I remember correctly, you had here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm calling this thyroid. 66. How's thyroid? 66 hurts. I know. Fine, good. How's your anxiety?
It's fine.
Okay, good. So and the other thing is I know hormonal balancing is extremely important for her. By the way, you said 13 here, right? Sorry, I'm pressing here. I shouldn't be. There was something here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When I do UB66, how is this one?
It's a lot less.
A lot less, not
Yeah.
100% less.
Not 100% less,
Okay.
but a lot less.
Can I have someone crack with your fingernail? Just replace my fingernail? Okay. With small intestine 3.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Originally, we started saying small intestine 3 is pituitary point. Why? Because it opens the do. Okay. But UB66, water on water, is hormonal point. Now, exact same spot between the hand and the foot. Okay. So combination. So originally, we used to, by the way, birth control pill taker, we always used to treat this. Women who say, I took birth control, but I hated it, and so I did, I was playing with it, which means they're only messing the pituitary more, unfortunately. They're already sensitive in the pituitary, and they're messing with it. That's a small intestine 3 person. So, but UB66 is also hormonal, and UB66 is better for polycystic ovary disease. Now, that'll be an interesting thing to check. Okay. You have ovary, right?
Yeah.
Should be the same side, but I'm just curious, because otherwise the treatment room is very boring. Hi, how's now?
It's still there.
Yeah, okay, I'm not surprised, but I wanted to check. So it should work same side, I'm hoping. If not, it's okay. Hi, now?
It's a lot less.
A lot less. Okay, so I have liver 1 and UB66. See, I'm not starting until I confirm what's doing what. Okay, so I know hormonal is her hormonal status is clearly affecting her anxiety reflex. Okay, I also have liver 1. Now I want to check, because it's in a cyst, good friend of UB66 naturally will be kidney 10. I personally, this is a personal preference, I am not a good friend of kidney 10. It's not, we all have points we like, points that we don't like. I prefer kidney 7, even though it's not water and water. It doesn't have the same resonance officially. This is my preference. The other thing, I'm going to check it against, she has a possible adrenal here, you have something, and she has here, thyroid, okay. So, and she doesn't have kidney 2 pain, so she is actually not kidney 7 would be, ooh, okay. Feel the kidney channel here. Just run your finger as if you're like, I can't say this side, less so, there's some. Tight, taut.
Okay.
I'm learning English.
Not from there.
Taut, T-A-U.
No, I know. It's just Americans don't use that word
no,
very much. It's like we use the word tight. So come from kidney 3, it's especially around kidney 7 there's something, but even higher.
You could go home and say you type this course in the UK.
I typed this. Oh, I typed this course. It's great, Einstein. Did you feel that?
Yeah.
There's something, it's almost like an overinflated balloon, right? It has that, like,
very, very good.
yeah. That's not a good kidney, that's not good kidney channel. And kidney is ovary, so cysts are liver, but the fact that it's in the because cysts belong for me in liver 8 category, but the fact that it's in the ovary and she has a hormonal production issue is in the kidney. So something in her kidney channel is weird. It is tender? Yeah. Fabulous. Okay, we have something more to learn. Do you feel? You're trying to. Okay. No.
Get me off camera.
So what I want you to do is just like this.
Yeah.
What you feel, you feel. You can do a second pass afterwards, but just go. Because don't let your mind interfere. No, go.
Oh, okay.
Don't let the mind work. Let the fingers do the yellow page. What was that? Let the fingers do the walking.
But does it feel more excessive, that channel? to
I'm
me?
not discussing excess. I'm not trying to categorize it that way.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's weird. It's not correct.
Okay.
It's now if it was too flabby. So I'd call
But
it
it
excess
feels
because the
more
verse is
too hard rather than too
yeah.
foggy.
So I would call it an excess. I'm not that thrilled with that paradigm
Sure.
of having to say that all the time. Okay, make sense? Do you feel? Question?
Swollen from here, but not swollen visibly, but
Forget.
feels
Yeah,
like
it's not
full. Yeah.
Yes, so it feel you would expect it to be swollen, right?
Yeah.
If I don't know this person, maybe she's a child, maybe it's you elephant, compared to her size. I feel this and wow, swollen, tight, swollen. That right? That's what
That's what it felt, yeah.
That's what it feels like. Yeah. So don't do this thing where you just let it be what it is. Don't try and analyze until later. You can't. I know when you're as experienced as I am, you can do whatever you want. No. It's at the beginning, you've got to just allow the fingers to do it without interfering. At a certain stage, you learn how to disconnect the brain, to have both things happen at the same time, but to start with, allow yourself to feel. Now, you're saying this is painful.
Both sides are tender.
Okay, fine. I'm right, just on this side right
Yeah.
this second. Okay. Now, she doesn't have bumps, but she might have. There's a possibility she has what we call a no headaches, no nothing. Oh, but pituitary. Who cares if you had headaches? Okay. Remember when we did this exercise? Okay, so you were in Israel 2.5 years ago. That was the first class on Choi. Okay? So, we have this line here, spleen 3 to UB65 sort of thing, is, where you bend. This line we call the Choi line. Okay? Choi is a character that in TCM basically means to faint. It has you walk up the hill and you're panting, panting. So you in TCM it's called Choi syndrome is like fainting or stroke. Okay, but Kiiko talks about that it's not such a clear concept, but it appears to be something in the feet, some energy in the feet that's disturbing stuff in the chest and in the head. Okay. Now, there was a guy by the name of Maruyama who said, there's no such thing as a Choi point in the classics. Okay. But because it's this concept of Choi is so like, wow, interesting, blah, 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 it's used in many ways. There's cold Choi and hot Choi and blah, blah, Choi, and it appears lots of times. Maruyama came up with this idea that there's Choi points here. Many people like this idea. How can I find one place that reflects the whole body? He said, hi, here. And he said, okay, if you take because the spleen Choi will be here, and then the other one, the one that doesn't conform is the kidney, the Shao Yin Choi. It's by region. The Shao Yin Choi is behind liver 3. And then the liver Choi, we're saying, because many books say that liver 1 is really in the middle. They don't say liver 1 here. Okay? So the Choi of the liver will be here, so we can take this Tai Yin, Shui Yin, Shao Yin, then stomach, Yang Ming, Shao Yang, and Tai Yang. Okay, so each one of them has a Choi point, and that Choi point, if you find things like varicosity along the channel, you find tightness. I want to see if the Choi point is a good point for her. So her Choi point should be Shao Yin, because it's the kidney channel that's tight. So pressing Shao Yin Choi, the Choi point of the Shao Yin. How is that less painful now?
Yeah, completely.
She's a smiler. Patients are always fun. Okay, so
That's what.
it's literally behind liver 1, liver 3. Sorry. Now, what I'm curious about, is, hi, how are we here?
Still there a little bit.
Hold on, changing angle slightly.
It's gone.
Gone. Okay, good. Now,
Was that
How
the
is
thyroid
this?
you just tested? Sorry.
yeah, because it's in the kidney category. Yeah, if she says she has thyroid conditions, different story for me. So I'm starting by, wow, you have, maybe I can call this Choi, like bumpy, weird, phenomenon in the channel. Maybe the Choi point will do a better job. Hi, how's this?
Still there.
Still there, okay. But this was, 66 made it gone, okay. And how's anxiety?
It's gone.
Gone, okay, great. Now, Choi point, okay, how's this guy
Yeah, it's gone.
gone? How is boom?
A lot less. It's
Okay,
still there.
yeah, we have other methods, so combinations. See, I don't go for one idea only. I'm happy to take insurance. Like, liver 1 did this, for example, UB66 did it, but I'm just checking the effectiveness so as to add. How's uterus?
Still there, but less.
Okay, so this is not as effective for, and how's this guy, the lung, so-called lung reflex?
Yeah, that's not there.
Not there, okay. By the way, how's liver? It's Shao Yin, it's not Choi Yin, but I'm curious.
That's less.
Okay, okay, cool. All right, so the last thing we need to check is my hormonal area. Okay, so ovary, boom. How's now?
A lot less.
A lot less, okay. And
So here you're doing that area reflects hormones,
hormonal-
but you
yeah,
also.
inner yin, because remember, okay, hold on. I'll explain that area a fair amount this weekend. Hold,
Okay.
Give me a second. Just small intestine 13 pituitary reflex, right? Okay. Boom. Hi.
It's virtually gone.
Virtually gone. Okay. So we'll start. We have UB66, small intestine 3, official pituitary hormonal, inner yin, and then Shao Yin, and let's see what's left in the body. Okay, and then we still have, liver 1 will be moxa. So needle-wise, I use, depending for what, but most of my needles, number 1, I think it's 0.18. I'm not sure what the, what,
0.18, yeah.
0.18,
Yeah,
okay.
either one.
Number 1 and 1 inch, that's enough for anything. I don't care how fat they are. I mean, I used to use number 2x40s on everything except feet, but now I use this. Now, for the feet, I use, I don't know what,
0.14.
okay.
Is it
you
here?
say.
If it's green, it's a green
It's
serine.
0.12. No, but
Oh,
it's the
it's a
dark
small
green.
one. Oh, yeah, dark green, yeah.
That's what I use for feet.
Yeah.
It's so much nicer in half inch, and they generally, not the end of the world, they don't feel. So, and I prefer to start on the left side. Why? And I happen to prefer to stand on the left side of the patient, if you haven't noticed. Most people that I know, that the better practitioners that I know would prefer that. Now this will be contradictory from what you've learned. I'm sorry to take so long. We'll get into your needles in a second. You think left side, blood side, right side, chi side. Therefore, yin side, yang side. We think exactly the opposite. Okay, why? Yang, okay. In the body, the function moving up is on the right side, right? Moves across and then moves down. Okay? So, what moves up? Yin. Okay, look at the channel. No, okay. Look at the channels. The yang channels move down, and the yin channels move up, right? Okay. Why? Because I know it sounds counterintuitive. I get that. I understand that you think what moves up must be yang. Okay. Yes, I get it. It's moving towards yang, but where did it start? If it's moving up, it means it's grounded in yin. The yang channels come from heaven and they move down towards earth because man is between heaven and earth. Therefore, the yang is the one that moves downwards, even though, yes, it's moving towards yin. I get it. Okay? So, therefore, what in the body, the right side to me represents more yin, more blood. The left side represents it's moving down, it's yang. So therefore it represents the chi. I need to move the chi before before I move the blood, I need to move the chi. You don't move the blood before you move the chi. It doesn't make sense. Right? Where the chi goes, the blood goes. Okay, so you have to start. My understanding is we start with
When you're referring to that direction in the body, is that physiologically or energetically?
physiologically. You eat the food.
Yeah.
It goes
And then
into
you're
the
largely testing the engagement.
yeah.
So that's okay.
Where you have where do you have that movement up and down? I mean, you only have down in here, but when you start having some sort of circle, if you're trying to impose the Tai Chi symbol on your body, there's going to be something. It's going to go this way. It's not going to go this way.
Yeah.
Unless you're built totally wrong. I mean, it's conceivable. Okay, so that's why we tend to think that, and I know that you've been taught that the left is yin and it's blood, and that's an idea that comes from, that the males, because people who are right-handed, their yang side is going to be on the right. It makes sense in that respect. So it's taking the understanding that yin and yang have something to do with male-female kind of energy. Also, so there's the left side is kind of more receptive, the yang side is more active. But if you talk to a left-handed person, it may be totally the opposite. So I can't. But how many people do you know have reversed intestines? 1 in 3 million.
Okay.
I gave you the answer. It's okay.
I would have been close, yeah.
You would have said none.
Yeah.
There are people whose liver and spleens are reversed. The statistics is something like 1 in 3 million is what I heard. I don't know if that's really true either. So think about it. 100 people in all of the United States, I happen to know one of them. Not a patient, but so it's kind of like very, very few. It's like, so we can assume that most people, that's the okay. So we'll start with 66. In this case, normally I would want to confirm. So let me just do that. Thank you. So you had here, right? Or more here?
Yeah.
Okay. 66. Hi.
Yeah.
Okay. And how's this?
Can feel it.
Hold on. A little bit is not the end of the world. But
It's
how?
gone.
Okay. So I just shifted ever so slightly. So that tells you how careful you have to be with point location.
And when you shift, you just kind of shift. Just
Teeny, like a millimeter, literally. Now this side should. This is one of my big targets. Hi. How's my target?
It's virtually gone.
Virtually gone. Okay. Now, you could be nice and use the greens. These ones, for feet I use serines. These are dong bangs. You know, they come 1,000 for a package and they're $23. This is like $10 a package of 100, okay, big difference. So I'm not, I know, I used to use lots of serines. They are beautiful needles. I recommend them, whatever. The only problem is, no, forget the money. How much do people pay for a treatment?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Are you going to argue for $1 or whatever, £1 for you know, if you're a violinist, you buy a Stradivari and you take a mortgage on your damn Stradivari. This is my this is my instrument. No, the problem is damn bloody plastic. That I'm not willing to. I'm willing to spend the money. I'm not willing to put all this plastic in the environment. That's totally not appropriate. But when a point is very uncomfortable, how is anxiety now?
Still there a little bit.
A little bit there. Okay. If you can tell me by percentages, it's very nice, but I won't force you. Just if you can. Hi, small intestine 13.
It's fine.
It's fine, okay. Behind stomach 9?
It's actually gone.
No, it's okay. That's why I check before I start needling. So I prefer to be able to check the point against the reflexes, but if I can't, I can. Anxiety.
It's gone down again.
How much is left?
5%.
5%, okay. How's liver? Sorry.
It's not there.
Okay. This guy,
I can feel that.
You can feel that, okay. So, small
That's a
intestine 13 is
Ketsu.
not a point by protocol that is supposed to fix below kidney 16, but I'm just trying.
It's gone.
It's gone. Because if it's the right point for her, it will fix it no matter what, you know. If this is root and the root is in the pituitary, I'm still going to do kidney. It's not like I won't do it. But, so that's the difference between what I teach in this style versus the style, the protocol style. If you're teaching, when you need to learn the protocols, I agree. The protocols, you can go on my website, you can buy Kiiko's books, you don't need me to give you, to chew the protocols for you. You gotta memorize them. There's no way out of it. So, yeah, adrenal, kidney 6 plus 27. You may substitute kidney 6 for kidney, we'll do that in a minute, okay? But I want to show you the style. Or maybe not the style, my way of working with it would be a better way of explaining it. And
So what made you test small intestine 3 again?
pituitary
Sorry.
master. It
Okay.
opens the do. Originally, we used to say that for the pituitary, we use small intestine 3, but because it's hormonal, it's UBC. I showed you that 66 and small intestine 3 are the same, the mirror image of each other. They're also both Taiyang. Right? Make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Anything?
A few percent. It's really going.
Okay. And ovary?
It's not there.
Okay. This guy's no. Okay. And uterus.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Finally, we get something that's still there. No, the more you can check, the better. Don't get scared. The more findings, don't go, oh shit, what do I do? Be happy. The more findings, the more you can confirm, the more you can be sure that what you're doing is right. They have one finding, well, it disappeared by chance. How do you know? Hi.
Still there.
Still there. Okay. I'll still do it. So, chance it. What I'm missing something.
Yeah, it's gone.
Okay. So we'll start with. And add this.
that there, is that a point or an area, this one?
This is an area, in my opinion, we say inner yin itself, we say is 5 fingers above kidney 10. I describe it as go to liver 9, because liver 9 to me is you slide up the liver channel until you stop. It stops on its own, and just take it down towards the kidney channel. Okay? Now, inner yin originally, okay, it's a hugely important point for me, not so much for Kiiko, when we needle it towards the stomach channel, towards the gallbladder channel. So not straight in, but slightly up towards here, towards the ceiling. Originally, inner yin was called trapezius releasing point. Releases the trapezius. That was its origin. Okay. Then it became on the left side because colon, as we saw, moves down to on the left side. Now, granted, the actual rectum is in the center, but it's connected more on the left. So the adductors are, they end up in the they connect with the rectum. So releasing this, we use this area also for constipation. But remember when I told you, press the heel, lift up the ankle bone, isolate kidney 6, separate kidney 6, and where does it go? It goes into inner yin, goes into the perineum. This point affects your whole posture. It's an incredibly, so Kiiko doesn't say this, and she will probably disagree with what I'm saying, but I talk to other people and they say, wow, inner yin is such a fabulous point. I use inner yin for blah blah, for blah blah, for blah blah. When I don't know what to do, I go for inner yin. How come? Because it activates this whole upwards mechanics in the body, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. So let's finish with a Shaoyin Choi, which actually will need moxa. And I don't think we have any more reflexes on you, right? Everything else happy. So we'll just... It's okay, we're allowed. Was that okay?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. If you use this needle, you can do under the feet. It's every so often it will hurt. The other trick is to press really hard.
Before you do.
Somewhere else. No, that you do always. Any needle I put in, I press the guide tube in. Hold on, I'll explain that in a second. Remind me of the pressing. I'm pressing with this finger above to distract her. Okay?
Yeah.
That was a little bit, yeah, I was,
Screw that whole bit.
yeah, because the needle slipped for, we were talking, it's my fault.
Are you feeling for the curve under the bone? What exactly are you feeling
On
in
the
your
Choi?
location? Yeah.
It depends. Ideally, everything you can do, if you can basically confirm it with something else. I couldn't at this. I confirmed it originally. On the Choi, you're looking for, it could be a bone feeling, it could be something else, because I can't guarantee it's a bone. It's supposed to actually be between the bones.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be between the tarsals, the whatever, the meta and the blah blah.
I'm interested, where do you start when you're investigating it? Do you just go like under the...
Okay, so
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
relax.
That's fine, I'm relaxed.
Okay. I take liver 3 and go behind,
Okay.
and now I'm looking, and then
Yeah, work your way around.
the other option has been, and then I'm taking the line.
Yeah.
So I look at the joy points, this whole business that I showed you, leave that line, that arch of the foot. That arch of the foot carries your whole gait. The heel carries your whole gait. You're starting to look at what does it mean to be an upright human being, which is going to be, I don't like to argue with veterinarians, but the veterinarians who do acupuncture, it doesn't make sense to me that they're trying to take points that work on humans, because this is not the same as this. It can't be. The energy is different. And so our energy has something to do with this line and with kidney 6. Now, there's a phrase in a heart stroke. Are you okay? Do you want something to cover?
I'm fine, thanks.
We'll do moxa in a second. There is a phrase in the Heart Sutra that says, if I have it here, 造讲无用界空度一切苦 Okay. It says, in it talks about the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara, Kuan Yin. Okay, so we all know Kuan Yin is the goddess of medicine in China, but she's really, she comes from India. She was a he in India. And Guan means to observe, and Yin means sound. Observing the sounds of the world. She's the Bodhisattva of compassion. Therefore, she's the icon of medicine in China. And the Heart Sutra is something that in Zen Buddhism is recited every day. And so it has nothing to do with medicine. I just want to show you different ways of thinking to look at things. So it starts with the phrase Jiao. Jiao means, to translate it, the Bodhisattva Avalokita, while moving in the deep course of perfect understanding, and this is the phrase we're coming to, shed light on the 5 skandhas. Okay, that's a Buddhist term, skandhas. Doesn't really shed light on our own body, we can say, and found them equally empty. After this penetration, she overcame ill-being. That's the English translation, the nice English translation of what I just said in Chinese. It starts with the character Jiao. Jiao is to shed light, to illuminate. Kidney 6 is called Jiao Hai, illuminating ocean. Okay. So, I am not Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin is sitting there in like perfect meditation and decides that everything is empty. That's cute. But how does she do it? She observes her own process. In order to observe my own process, something needs to happen at kidney 6. Kidney 6 is a yin shao. Yin shao we call the meditation channel. That's the channel of observing the self. Okay? That's why the kidney 6 is so important. Okay? In my opinion, that's how come kidney 6, this activation of kidney 6, I can make it up. I can say character of Jiao in Heart Sutra. I don't know if the Heart Sutra guy understood meridians, not, it doesn't matter. If I can prove it in a body, that's all that matters. Okay, so now, you have this character. Actually, that's almost more important. So I took kidney 6 from the beginning to observe, to illuminate. If I want to illuminate, and where do I have an illumination in the body? Well, I have it in kidney 6. That's why knowing, point names is worth it. Now,
there are lots of points that have reference to sort of illuminating or lighting and stuff.
Guang, that's different. Light is, Jingming. No. This is different. This is to shed light. To shed light is different than it's a different kind of illumination. Yeah, just like in English, you can use many expressions. Of course, I'm just saying this expression happens to be in the Heart Sutra. This Jiao. So of course, yeah, you have the character Guang, for example, or Ming. Ming means clarity. So, for example, Wu Ming means no clarity, means ignorance. So the avidya in the Chinese text is Wu Ming, but Ming itself is brightness, and you have a bunch of points with the character Ming. You have a bunch of points with the character Guang, which means light. My name, for example, in Chinese, because I'm Magidoff. So I'm called Ma Ji Guang. Okay, it sounds kind of similar. This horse, because lots of people have last name horse. Ma. It's a little rough, but it's still. So Ma. Because all Chinese names usually have last name, my siblings' names, my generation's name, and my personal name. So my family name would be Magidoff, Ma Ji Guang. Mai's family name, Chi, is to reveal or to teach or to, actually it's also to illuminate, actually the same as, so a teacher, the transmission from a teacher is Ji, and Guang is light. Okay, so yeah, but this particular one, now this is Ku, and if you know, and this is air. Ku is, if you do herbs, Ku Shen, Sephoria, the bitter root. Okay, this means bitter. This is the number 10, a grass, and number 10 means old, basically here. So a grass that's old, okay, a grass that's old, what happens to it? It withers. There's no life, and then they're bitter. They're not juicy anymore, they're bitter. Means distress. So bitter means pain or bitter. This means distress. What you see here is like this part of the character. So it's like, literally, it's someone bent over. So what it tells us, this distress, ill-being, is with as we wither and we lose our posture, this is going to create ill-being. One of the things we need to do with acupuncture is counter this and create an upward movement. Where is that upward movement going to come from? The first to observe this by observing my own body, and that observation is from kidney 6. From kidney 6 I can create, we see this physically, when you open up kidney 6, you're creating the opening for the body to lift up. Okay? And part of that lifting has to do with inner yin. That's why inner yin is such an important point for me. So we owe her moxa on liver 1. We
You
owe her
don't
moxa on
needle
joint
it
points.
at all?
No, you can if you want. But, I don't like to, there's a reason why I'm not doing it on her, which is, now there's 4 locations for liver 1. I'll show you those, and you have to test, but hers happened to have been that one. So this cream is called Shionko. You can use anything you like. I happen to like this, and I happen to like the injectors. You have to put them in, and you have to put them in from this side. Okay? The reason why... Oh, the moxa isn't here, and the niter isn't here. Okay. I use... Oh, wait.
I'm just thinking smoke down.
There will be no smoke here. We will not be rained upon. No. That's not Chinese moxa. That's real moxa. Okay, moxa is not the leaf of the Aye plant. It's not the leaf of the Artemisia. It's the wool that grows on the leaf. What the Chinese do is they take the whole damn thing. They cut the whole plant and they grind it, and that's your brown, crappy stuff that smells like marijuana. Okay, this is what you do: is you do the same thing, except now you put it in a centrifuge, and the stuff that gets flown far away, is the fluffy stuff, you pick that up. And that's why it's yellow. So this, you'll see there'll be no smell.
Most
Does
Japanese-
work.
But not with me.
It might be locked.
Hmm?
It might be the lock on.
Where's the one? I thought it was this side, that's why I wasn't sure.
Flame.
It's good.
Yeah. So is that just an incense?
That's an incense stick. Most people will tell you they prefer the thicker ones. I happen to prefer these lighter ones, and these are the, well, there's different ones here, but I use the chrysanthemum incense sticks, which are relatively smokeless. Actually, I'm not sure what this one is, because I can actually smell it more than I should. And so direct moxa is a bit of an art. It takes a little time. I suggest practice on yourself first. What you really want to do is don't squish to make it small. Okay, so I have this phrase that people like is, size does not matter. Tightness, on the other hand, does. You don't want it tight in this case, meaning the more tight the moxa is, the more substance there is and the more sweat from your hands, which means it's going to burn very hot. You want it fluffy, and a little bigger is not the end of the world. Now, if it gets big and she says, ouch, okay, now this is, where's the people I know do this, right, Derek? No?
Oh, yes. Sorry.
So you see, this one's bigger, no big deal.
What would
And
you
if she
tell?
says, ouch, I just squish it between my fingers and then it's gone.
What would you tell them to expect to feel?
Like a
when you do it?
mosquito bite. Is that correct? Or you may not have felt yet.
Just hot.
Just hot, okay. So ideally, it's not too horrible, it should be tolerable. Some people don't like it, but and what they don't like is the intermittency of it.
And you just keep piling on top of the
Yeah.
previous
Yes.
bit.
Yes. And ideally, she feels 6 or 7 of those.
It's not the way we...
Well, no, I know you do, but you do direct.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
it's like, yeah. And I always put the cream on, because I think not putting the cream on, if you're in Asia, you can afford to do it. And then, because you need something, first of all, you need something so it sticks to the skin, so a little saliva, I don't care. But, you know, you don't want the patient to see you doing it, number one. But secondly, you want a little bit of insulation between the skin and the moxa, so that, you see, and I blow the incense stick all the time. And then I clean my hands so that when I'm touching the moxa itself, it doesn't get sweat from my fingers. Now, there is a video on my website that that's specifically about moxa, and you'll see it a few times, and it's not comfortable the first time you do it. The biggest mistake people do is they don't want to do this. I pick up some moxa, but I'm going to parachute it on the point. This is the part they don't like, with the incense stick in their hand. So they do this. And switch hands. Okay? So you have to get used, you choke the stick as much as you can.
Yeah.
And you have to get used to working in a small space so you can be relatively fast. You don't put one until it's over.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Is it too much? Or is it
Yeah.
acceptable? No, I understand feel, but is it like horrible?
No, it's fine. Yeah.
Last one. No, I mean, and some people love it. You know, they ask for it. They don't feel, I mean, and moxa is great because, now joy points we do moxa almost always. The other thing is, now this joy point in my opinion is a little low. It could have been more towards the toes. So, it's okay.
Do you have any
Happens.
opinion on the sort of electrical equivalents like the Banshin?
I don't know. I have never used, so I can't tell. A lot of people complain, I don't have the time, I don't have the dexterity. For me, it's like meditation, and it
Yeah.
connects you with the patient. It's like,
But I suppose you did work with Kiiko, and she probably made you
Yeah.
you do 10,000 of them while you're
no, actually, no, she complained. She said, you're burning my patients. Okay, big deal. She burns her own patients too. It's like, I know, because people have told it's like it happens. So, but yeah, you only have to, your only choice is to do it, and then you get better. Now, if you do people's feet, and I'll show you, there's an insomnia point in the middle of the heel. That's a fabulous place to do moxa, because people don't complain there so much. And nobody, if you burn here, which is very rare, nobody's going to complain, wow, you left me a huge mark of moxa. But generally it's not a big deal.
Would you tell the patient that you might have a little scar left or a little temporary mark?
If it happens, I say, I'm so sorry. Wow, never happened before. What happened? So, I think that warning patients about too many things is not useful. I think that they why make them nervous?
Is there a rule of thumb when you would and wouldn't use moxa, or is it generally like advised?
I use moxa on everything. I don't care, hot condition, cold condition. This moxa is not that kind of heat, so I don't have to worry about, heat. You don't heat the hot condition.
Yeah.
But cold feet, we use moxa. But then there are certain points we use moxa. So, for example, liver 1 is a moxa point. Why? Because it's the element on the element. So, for example, UB66 could be moxa, by the way, too. Number 1, she has cold feet. Number 2, but it'll be, if I had an assistant, I would do this. But it might be too much to. Oops, it's okay, no problem.
And is it that the moxa, would you say it's doing the same as the needle, or?
No,
Is
it's
that-
different. Needle breaks down connective tissue. Okay, so you're literally breaking down the connective tissue. So if you know anything about plastics theory, anybody who did chemistry, in plastics theory, there's something called the crystalline
structure.
Thank you. Very nice. And what it means is, like, if all the molecules are aligned, the more aligned they are, the more crystallized it is, which means the more it conducts energy. So a plastic that's opaque is not crystalline, whatever the word he used. And then, so if the molecules are just globbing on top of each other and they're not aligned, the plastic will not be clear. And the plastic that's clear, it's because everything is more aligned. So in the connective tissue, you have these gummies, and we're putting a needle in, and we're breaking down the gumminess in order to align the connective tissue. The same principle. That's my understanding. Moxa dissolves. as opposed to breaks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oops. That's why you don't want nice clothes when you work in your clinic, because it's...
Like I say, that's the problem I find, is you get the red stuff on your fingers, and
Okay,
then you're
so-
doomed.
So you go like this.
Well, no, once you get...
Yeah, I know.
because once
You
touch
can't.
it, you
Yeah, you
start.
don't. Well, that's why the injectors are really
Yeah,
nice,
right,
because
You just get a minute amount on the...
yeah, you don't need a lot of it. You just need to insulate a little bit. And if you're careful with the first one, you piling the other ones on top, then it no longer matters. But yeah, if you put too much of the shionko on, what will happen is your fingers will touch it, and then they're touching the moxa, and then what you have is oil in the moxa, and the moxa burns too hot. Your fingers are dirty, so you have to keep wiping your
You
hands.
can't get it off your
So
fingers.
I work with real sheets, and it's a drag because it's like having children in the house all the time. You're always doing laundry. It's like,
I did ask Kiiko once, what would you do if you if you couldn't cope with the little, doing that? And she
said,
take
I
us-
would-
She said, take a stick out of use the tiger warmer
Yeah.
instead, stick and bring it close.
yeah,
like
but
sparrow pecking.
I'm sorry.
I know you don't. I can't. Some people can't do it. I can't do it.
Yes, you
I
can.
chopped the top of my thumb off, so I've got no feeling in it. So it's
Which one?
the right.
Fine, then we'll show you how to do it. There's always a way to do it. Do it with your toes. No, seriously, I mean, I understand. People have resistance to doing this kind of moxa because it's time consuming, but the tiger warmer will take you even longer, in my opinion. And it's not exactly the same. Yes, you can use tiger warmer if you want. Tiger warmer is to give to the patient for homework. It's not for me to use in the clinic. Thank you.
Can I ask the Joy point you mentioned that you
Yeah.
used it for like channel?
So, yeah.
How far sort of up or down? Is it more the extremities of the channel?
Uh,
Or does that apply to like the whole channel?
Yeah, it will be, you'll see it below the knee, that the puffiness, the thickness. Hold on 1 second. I thought I could do it with the Chinese moxa thing, but it's too deep. I can't, it doesn't snuff up the incense. It's okay. The joy points, the puffiness you'll see below the knee usually, I mean, the bumps will be below the knee, and about spider veins you can see anywhere in the channel. Also for head, any symptoms in the chest, something with the Choi energy, which we don't exactly understand what it is, interferes with something in the chest and the head. That's our understanding of the concept. But exactly what it is, we don't know. And it just happens, Maruyama is the one who said these are joy points, but I'll give you some other ideas for Choi, and by the way, she has. Come here and feel her stomach channel. Now, my stomach channel is on the bone. Feel those bumps. And only move down, please, because that's the direction of the channel. It's more on the left side than the right side. That's another, we call stomach chi. Don't go from stomach 36, go from stomach 40 area. You feel good? Yeah. Okay. That's a disruption in the stomach channel. And, stomach channel is so important, right? So how come if people have these bumps, often typically, but in her case, I couldn't quite tell with a pulse, there'll be a pulse that comes that doesn't have a forward movement to it, or you might say it doesn't have a slipperiness to it. It's not that it's wiry or tight. The pulse, when you put your fingers on it, only feel is it hits you. It hits your fingers. Book, book, book. It doesn't go. Okay, so you can say that it's lacking a slippery quality, and if I remember correctly, she actually did have a slipperiness to her pulse. Is that one? Don't worry about the positions. I don't do positions.
Right, okay. It's quite nice to see points used on the feet though, because you think it must be such an important area, the sole of the feet, but traditionally you don't. Kidney 1 is like.
Is the only thing. Well, yeah. So traditionally, yeah. The Chinese. Think about what the Chinese were using 2,000 years ago when this whole system came about. It's like, are you kidding? It's like even Chinese patients don't like to be needled in the feet with this size needle. It's like it's not. So of course they avoided it. But it doesn't. But if you think about it, if you're standing upright, if you're handstanding, it's a different story. Then your hands will be important. But it's so clear that the feet are the base of everything that you do. And then, so let's do this thing again of activating kidney 6, so you can feel it again. So send the heel down to the floor and lift the ankle bone away from it. And for the younger people, that should sound fairly familiar. But don't roll onto the bladder channel. Keep the spleen 3 on the floor. So you feel that the activation of the foot activates your whole body and gives you a sort of a lift. So it counters the bitterness and the distress, okay? And that it has something to do with the lower abdomen, just above the pubic bone, that it will activate this area, and from that area you can activate the rest of the spine. So you can have some sort of lightness in the body as opposed to the withering. So as soon as you wither in the body, the feet are not intelligized. If you intelligize the feet, that will happen. Now, excuse me. If you happen to be handstanding, it will be the opposite. It will be, oops, sorry. That's why you need a wall, it's easier. If you're handstanding, it's the hands that have to push to create that. But here, oops, sorry. You saw that once I pushed into my hands, did you see that my kidney 6 got elongated also? But this whole thing gets elongated. It's so much clearer when you're handstanding, because you don't have a choice. We're used to standing on our feet, so we're letting everything drop. Man, it's cool. But most of us, unless you're doing capoeira people, by the way, can do handstands without pushing into their hands. They don't have to activate. They do these soft handstands. But if you're not that, and I don't spend all my life in handstands, right? You have to push, and then you feel that whole elongation throughout from the inner thigh, except in the opposite direction, through the whole abdomen, through the whole spine. You want to create that from the feet on a regular basis in your life. Otherwise, you kind of like slowly getting into.
If I've learned one thing, that is fantastic. Because I'm standing here with quite a lot of pain in my gastrocnemius. For the last year or so, I've been getting a lot tighter, abductors in particular. And when I do this exercise,
what goes away?
It just goes away completely. It's wonderful.
Cool.
Thank you.
So this idea that there has to be a lightness in the body. So there's another phrase before we take her out. Oh my God. Treating patients in class always takes longer. So we'll turn you around in a moment. So there's another phrase in, I think it's Ling Shu 33, I'm pretty sure. I don't have it here for some reason, but anyway. There is a description of the oceans. There's 4 oceans in the body. Okay? There's an ocean of chi and grain, and an ocean of blood, and an ocean of something else, and an ocean of marrow. What's the something else? I'll tell you in a second. The chi and grain, the blood, the marrow, there's another ocean. Okay, sorry, jet lag. So, the sea of marrow, the ocean of marrow, is, and each one of them has points. Now, the ocean of marrow, each one of them in excess, this is what will appear. So excess of the gu chi is going to be basically dampness, the excess of it. And deficiency is going to be weakness, stuff like that. But in the marrow, the excess marrow is a good thing. And what does it give you? It gives you this thing, qing jing luo du. Dually, meaning qing is lightness or easiness. Okay? It's got, and the character, it's like a carriage that goes in the river. It's lightly, it just flows in the river. That's light, it's easeful. Okay? Jing is strength or continuous strength with actually, let's see how to translate. Vigorous was the translation. Okay, so it's a river that flows with strength. Okay, and dua is many, like two nights is many. That's how you express it in Chinese and writing. And li is literal strength, like a knife. You have strength. So the character qing, the lightness, okay, the sturdiness and the lightness. That's what we're trying to produce in the body. Okay, that's what health is, as opposed to bitterness and the withering of the bitterness. The sturdiness and the lightness is what we're trying to produce. Now, from that, what I'm taking, now this is me. I'm looking for the opposite of ease and light, okay? So it doesn't exist in the medical literature. Okay, so I have to look, I'm looking for it. As it happens, this character, Ching, is also, there's something called 7 factors of enlightenment. Okay, and one of them is easefulness. Okay, so in the Buddhist understanding, there's 51 mental formations. One of them is ease. The opposite of ease is called jiaozhu. And jiao is to drop, when something is dropped, and ju is lifting. So when you drop, okay, usually, what's the opposite of easefulness in English?
Honey.
Isn't it,
What is it?
Usually we would say something like restlessness.
Okay.
And in Chinese also, it will be bu'an, no peace. Ease is peaceful, so no peace. Bu'an will be the. But if you're looking in technical terms, what you see is this jiaozhu. Now, ju, so you have the dropping, and the lift itself is, let's see if I can do this, because the Chinese is, oh God. I'm not sure what's in the middle here. There's something in the middle. Ow. Okay, sorry, I messed it up. What you have is 2 hands, and forget this character. It's like something like 17 strokes. My Chinese isn't good enough. It's like 2 hands. These take just the top. There's 2 hands here, and there's a hand at the bottom. Okay, which is the part I messed up. It's 2 hands coming and lifting you up. Okay, so it tells you something that to create the lift, you need to come from the side. To get to the middle, you have this principle in TCM also, by the way. Come from the side to treat the center. Treat upper for lower, lower for upper, stuff like that. You've heard of these kinds of things. One of these principles is from the side to the center. To create lightness in the body, come from the side. So triple warmer, for example, we use triple warmer, we call triple warmer 8. For rapid pulse, we use 5, but 8 really is a third below the elbow. You slide up until you stop. It's above 9 very clearly. Okay, there's no official triple. We use that lots to release the SCM opposite side. Okay, so that coming from the side to release the center, and then another hugely favorite point of mine, take Ren 4, go all the way to the side. We call this, you can call this gallbladder 27, 28 because nowadays they're here. But if you think of the gallbladder channel just being on the side, primitive gallbladder channel, it will show 27, 28 should be here. Okay. So take Ren 4, go to the side to the gallbladder channel. You can call this mu shu, between the mu and the shu. Okay.
Yeah.
Mu shu. Okay. Can't eat it, but it's a cute name. Hugely important point for me. It's one of the points that helps this lift. So for some people, what I'll do is I'll do kidney 6, inner yin, mushu, and UB2 as a representative to coordinate the dantians. And that's an incredibly useful treatment for some people.
It's very interesting. I found that extra point using massage. I'm trying to figure out what point it is. It doesn't seem to fit in any traditional locations, but it's anything going on with the pelvic floor, lower back.
Yes. Yeah.
And
I would agree.
areas.
Yeah. So originally we used mushu to strengthen weak dantian. So for example, Ren 9 pulse I told you is weak dantian. Remember that was one of the few things we went through. It can be too much emotions the heart can contain, but it's a weak dantian because why are you feeling the aorta? Officially, the treatment for Ren 9, and lots of people have Ren 9 by the way, pulsing, is right side stomach 24, needle slightly outwards, and left side GB 26. In my opinion, and the opinion of most of the people I talk to, with the exception of one woman, said, no, actually stomach 24 is great. I put huge thing of moxa on and it works great. After the moxa, they feel like, oh yeah, fine, I don't do what we call kyutoshin, on top, moxa on top of the needle, big glob. I can't. I won't do it. I smell like marijuana the whole day afterwards. And because one of Kiiko's teachers was Kauai, and he did moxa on every single point. For some 3 weeks after he was here, I was doing this thing, and I'm like, I'm never touching it again. Sorry, won't do it. Not my thing. But that's the official treatment, and everybody except this one Canadian woman who tells me that it does work for her. Now, she's living in Montreal, it's bloody free. No, she lives in Quebec City. It's very cold there, so it's a whole different ballgame, doing Kyoto-shi. Everyone else says, Avi, how come, Red 9, I do what it's supposed to and it doesn't work. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work for me that great either. But what I find is if I do Mushu, Ren 9 pulse calms down much, much better. Then I add stomach 20, then I do the dogma. Okay? So yes, this has some great effect. It's like something we don't have to go, which channel, like blah, blah. It's like, just look at what's a human body looking like. Who am I? What am I feeling in my body? What's going on here? And you'll know a lot more than memorizing. Memorize the channel because somebody did that work before us. So we don't have to start from scratch, but don't assume that everything they said or did must be 100% true or it must work for you. It may not work for you. You may need to do something else. All right, let's flip her over. Now, everyone I do back and front. There's no such thing for me, one-side treatment. Why? Because the theory is I want to release everything I can on this person so that whatever is grabbing, I'm releasing. Now, I may not be able to do it in one treatment. You have to keep releasing until the body's willing to release it. Okay, that I understand. But if I do one side, and how do I know that something in T5, which by the way we're likely to find because she has emotional stuff, right? So chances are I'll find something to T7 and T2. How do I know that whatever grabs her, by the way, she's slow pulse, more likely to have on the other side? If I leave it alone, and I clear just the front, and I didn't bother discovering what's happening in the back, that thing is the thing that can grab her condition back. So always address everything you possibly can. That's mine. So I know it's more time, and of course nobody likes to spend more time, but that's, if you want to be relatively more efficient, it's better to do both sides in my opinion.
Could you usually fit that in an hour, or would you take longer?
I tell people an hour and 10 minutes, but some people I can do in an hour. But I prefer to, I also talk a little bit to people. But listen, this treating in class is not typical treatment.
Do you normally
Because I
leave
talk a
the-
lot.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Do you
go
leave
ahead.
needles in all the time?
I leave needles in, okay, so if you wanted to see how you fit it in an hour, you talk to them for 5 minutes, get them on the table. By 10 minutes past the time they came in, it should take me 5 minutes to put the needles in, that's 15 minutes. 20 minutes to leave the needles on the front. We're now at 35 minutes, 5 more minutes to get them to turn over. I still have 20 minutes, 5 minutes to get the needles in, give them 15 minutes, it's an hour. And I was generous. So now I do work, I also work with multiple rooms. So I don't have this issue of I have to get them in and out. So I always have an extra room. I don't know. Can we turn you over?
You were saying just earlier on, you said the 4 points, Mushu, Kidney 6, Inner Yin.
Inner, okay. Kidney 6, Inner Yin, Mushu. Mushu and Yubi2 are good friends.
Oh, is that the 4
This
you
is
said?
lower dantian,
Yeah.
and this is upper dantian.
Yeah. Was that the 4 you meant? Yeah.
Sorry?
Those are the 4
I
that you
believe
said. You
yeah.
just said, yeah, I missed
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is that this whole Choi line here is related to that also, to this uprightness. Okay, how do we create uprightness? And you can call it uprightness, you can call it fluffiness or airiness in the body. Okay, that also is related to the Choi area, because not only does this need to be, you have to have a down in order to have an up, and you have to have a solidity, a spreading here to create lightness up there.
Or like gym work.
Hmm?
It's a bit like gym work.
Gym work?
Yeah, so the Japanese sort of Tai Chi eternal style.
Ah, okay.
So it's similar.
Gym work.
Similar what you're saying.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't know. Excuse me. So, we know you had small intestine 13, do you still have? Okay, how about this side?
Little bit.
A little bit.
5%.
Hmm?
It's really low.
Hmm? Really low?
5%.
Oh, 5%, okay, thank you. Oh, hold on. I
Should be a hole in there
Yeah,
somewhere.
let's undo the, and then you can put So you feel you have your own stuff there, but I think it'll be a little easier to breathe, right?
Yeah.
Now, as a new practitioner, my suggestion is you do this. You go throughout the spine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anything?
4.
4. Okay. I would say that's T3 or 4. I'm not sure.
Going over the vertebrae.
No,
Then
I'm on the
space.
side. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Sorry. So 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 again.
4 again. That's okay. Lucky number. T7 makes sense. Okay. And I'm not doing one vertebrae. I'm just moving with my hand. So I'm not going to go. What is it? 12 plus 4. It's going to be whatever it is. 1, 2, 3, 4.
2.
2. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. No. Okay. So we had here,
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
and here, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi. Actually, can I borrow your pen for a second?
Pencil.
Oh,
Do you want
no,
a
that's
pen?
not going to work.
Is it easier for me to take this off?
No,
Not
you're
bothered.
fine, you're fine. No, it's just that I want to, if you don't mind, because what happens I might start talking and then I'll forget where it is here also,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And is it here?
Yeah.
When I'm in the clinic, I remember, but when I'm starting to talk about other things, it's hard to know. 1, 2, 3, 4.
No.
And you see my 4 here was because I started somewhere else. I don't care. I'm not that interested. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
4. Sorry, my mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4.
2 and 4.
2 and 4.
She's a good patient for
Hmm?
you. She's a good patient. She remembers where it was.
That's good. Yeah, some people can't, that's true. Now, the people who can't, they just can't. They can't relate to the body. They can't verbalize what's happening in their body. Either they don't feel or they can't connect the mouth to it. Okay, whatever. Then you work just with your hands what you feel, or you work theoretically. There's always a way. It's all right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4. But hold on. Anything here?
No.
Okay. So mostly upper. Okay. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm checking occipital because it's hormonal and autonomic nervous system. They both. We call this area anmyen, right? Good sleeping, right? The extra point anmyen, but gallbladder 20, UB10, it's all the same. This area is very important for the nervous system. She has worry, but she also has hormonal. How about here? A little bit above.
4, the last one.
This one, okay. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, so just this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
there.
No. Okay. Anything on the outer UV channel on the left? Very interesting. Oh, by the way, I didn't check your arm. Damn. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
No.
Nothing. How about this side?
Yeah, that side.
Okay, and I know you have a shoulder issue, which I forgot about also, but to deal with. Okay, which one? 1, 2, 3, 4.
2 and 3.
2 and 3. I usually do it against the left side. Do 2 is an extremely important point. Okay, I know you learned it only for epilepsy or something. Okay. Boom. How's now number 2?
There's nothing there.
Okay, and number 3.
There's still some.
Okay, fine. But number 2 is, okay. Hi. You had 1, 2, and 3. And then on the right side you had 1, 2, and 3, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Pressing on the tailbone. 1, 2, and 3.
3 is the little bit.
But 1 and 2 are gone.
Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. 1, 2, 3.
3 is there again.
No problem. Adding.
Sorry.
Want that back?
That's all right, actually.
How is 3 now?
It's gone.
And how is 3 this one?
It's gone.
Okay. I added UB30. Remember on the front she showed liver? On the back, if portal vein starts, goes from the left side to the right side, left side continuation of portal vein is rectal vein, UB35. UB35, the point name is called Hui Yang, and T7 on the do is called Zhe Yang. Meeting Yang, reaching Yang, there's a strong correlation. Okay? Now the tailbone, well, let's start and finish. Let's finish her first. So if you're showing liver, the back treatment for it is left side UB35. They will often have, anything here?
No.
Nothing.
No.
Okay, but she had on the do, so, okay. Just wanted to get more confirmation. So also what you'll see is my back treatments are generally a little faster and a little, you don't have a lot of channels to work with on the back. There's not the sophistication level that you can do on the front. Okay. Hi. 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Yes, gone? Or yes, there, or
Slightly there.
slightly. Okay, hold on. Oops, sorry. Yeah, sorry. 2 and 3.
3 is still there slightly.
Okay. Yeah. Don't do what I do. Don't manipulate needles with the left hand. It's not good ideology. Hi.
Actually, I haven't got a right one.
How did you? How's number 3? Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Good.
Still there.
Okay. So okay. 1, 2, and 3.
No.
Gone. Great. 1, 2, and 3.
Nothing.
Okay. Okay. And the only other thing I want to check is this.
Nothing.
Hmm?
Nothing.
Nothing. Great. Okay. This may have to do with her right shoulder, which I did what I could up to now constitutionally, but I have one more thing to do, which is just like TCM, we love UB32 for women's issues, right? So, oh yes, and she has. Feel that. That's not a puffy circle, but it's a tightness. Do you want to feel?
Your location of how did you locate?
Oh, I located it a little further up. Yeah, I do it further up. Kiiko will take it further down. I don't find the point there. By the way, I use do too. I release the outer UB channel and the outer scapula, inner border of the scapula, outer UB channel with do too. Kiiko does, and that's an Avi thing. And the reason I tell you this is that, but I locate a little bit higher because most people are not so comfortable.
Yeah. So you're just going. You start, but you just went somewhere and started. Why did you choose that point where you started? Just at the top of the crease, or?
No, I don't go
What
as slow as the crease because it's not so comfortable. So I'm a little bit higher. I'm always a little bit higher because you're moving upwards anyway. And so, okay. So if everybody stands up for a second, what I want you to do is I want you to take your tailbone, stick your butt out, like spill your ribcage forward, and then I want you to tuck under. Okay? So the tailbone goes forward. Take it back, feel how it feels in your body, and take it forward. And now send the tailbone straight down. What does the tailbone do for you when you send it back? Hmm?
Gives me low pain.
Okay. Let's ignore the physicality of any of it, just because this is something that's going to affect everybody slightly differently. But emotionally, when you take the tailbone back, what does it feel like? And emotionally, what does it feel like to tuck it under?
So more like sort of irritable to go back, or a bit more sort of restless.
Interesting. These are very interesting ideas. No.
Then here's a bit more depressing.
Okay. Irritable versus, okay, you have nothing in between apparently. It's okay. He can be irritable, he can be depressed. You have the absolute right idea. Usually when your tailbone's sticking out, you feel like you're going, so for you maybe it's irritable because you love to do meditation. Calm and serene, so it's irritable to move forward. Why do they tell you, when you stand in horse, why tailbone down, stand in horse to kind of, there's nowhere to go, your knees are bent, you can't go anywhere. So the meditative posture standing up is going to be with the knees bent. So when you do this, you feel like moving forward, and when you do this, you kind of feel like, ugh. Okay. Now, Kiiko will tell you something a little bit similar. She'll say, look at the dog. The dog wags its tail and it's happy and then it tucks the tail under. Well, I'm told that that's not true, that you can't say that about dogs. That's the stereotype. So I'm showing you to you on your body. If you can feel it in the body, it's a little bit better. Okay.
These sprinters have this lordosis, this curve where it sticks
Because
out.
they're always, they're always like this. They're contracting the bladder channel in order to like push. So, so this point, do 2, is super, super important for autonomic nervous system disorders. I use this on almost everybody. There are very few patients I have that don't do that. In fact, I'll tell you, on the back, if you want to do good with most people, we'll do it on her in a second, just for the sake of it. Do 2, T11, 12, T7, T5. And everybody, it's like universal treatment if you want. You know, now what? Do 2, T11, 12, T7, and T5. I'll show you in a second, but you still have here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When I poke 32, sorry, how's now?
Still there.
Okay, let me find a different 32.
Still there.
Okay, maybe it's not related, it's allowed. Hi.
That's cool.
As soon as I let go, it's willing to move. So, do you remember this upright posture thing starting in kidney 6? You better remember that because that's my favorite rubbish to talk about in today's world. No, it's this year's theme. You know, for me, that's the theme of the year. So, what happens? So we looked at what happens in the front. Now let's look at what happens with people from the back. Most people are going to come to you, whether they're lordotic or whether they tuck under. What's going to happen is the ribs, okay, are going to fall into the waist. I'm highly exaggerating right now. Now I can do it with my tail sticking out also. Okay, my ribs are falling into my waist because there are no bones to hold from here to the ribs. I have to hold this up. Okay, I have to do the effort myself. So T11, 12 is going to be sink down and back on most people. There's not going to be it has to be an upright. T11, 12 has to go up. It's a transitional vertebrae. It has to go up and forward. The other place where people are going to do it is T75. It's going to fall back and down. So what we need to do for most people is we need to give them this kind of lift. And where is that lift ending? With Taladana Bandha, it's ending in the occiput. Kiiko's favorite is do 16 for the last 2 years. Mine, to some extent, I actually prefer it from the side, same thing upwards. Okay? Unless they have autoimmune disorders, but I did check out autoimmune possibilities too. Too much talking, not enough concentration. So I'll show you what I do. So because T11, T12 is a transitional vertebrae and I want to give them an upwards feeling there. Now, some people with depression, for example, I use UB49, Isha, the doorway to the doorway of the intention. Okay. So how do you find T11, T12? Don't worry too much. What I do is I take my palm, and it kind of works for most people, slide it down until it reaches the sacrum, it stops. Where my thumb is the area I start looking for T11, 12. Now, if you feel this, go like this on her. Go, come on. Don't go, come. Do you feel like a little puffy, little gummy there? That gummy we call sugar point. It doesn't always relate to sugar, and most people have it. So let's talk about you. How much sugar and pasta do you eat?
I eat a lot of sugar.
Okay.
No pasta.
Well, when I say I mean wheat, plain carbs, simple carbs.
I have rice.
No, rice usually is okay. It's not as.
Or rice noodles.
So you're the kind of person, like for example, some people without a piece of bread, they don't feel like ate anything. Some people without meat, they don't feel they ate anything. You're the give me carbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Give me carbs, and by the way, I'll have dessert afterwards also.
Yeah.
No, it's very typical.
That's my secret.
Yeah? No, I want you to feel she's your patient. It's important. So, because of that tendency to sink T11, T12, I'm doing upwards. I might do slightly 45 degrees towards the spine, and I'm not on the do, I'm on the Watto. Kiiko will do it either on the do or the Watto. I take my Wattos generally further away than she does. Okay? And I'm telling you so that you see and hear differences. So you can choose. Sometimes, if I'm on this side, needling this side is always easier. Needling this side, because I'm pushing the needle away from me, is not as convenient. If you want, what you can do is stand here and do it that way. Okay, so just technically, it's not as comfortable. It doesn't feel as good. Now, T7. This is okay now?
Yeah.
A little bit here. This one you can do upwards. I do 45 degrees towards the spine. But you can do it upwards. If you ask Kiiko, she will go upwards. If she had huge kyphosis here, she was one of those people, yes, I would do it upwards because I want to give her, then I feel it's more important. So this business, due to T11, 12, T7 or T5, and T5, or you can say T9 and T4. This is also our major combination for hypothyroid. That was it, by the way. Very important. So what I'm feeling here is she has a weird vertebrae here. Below that. Oh, you're pressing a little too hard for my taste. Do you feel that? There's like a bump there? So I'm going to kill the bump.
You want to kill the bump?
Kill the bump. I don't like the bump.
Yeah, like.
Why should it have?
Not
And that's why
disperse the
I'm
bump, kill the bump.
kill the bump. Dispersing is too mild.
To my okay. Pop it.
Get rid of the damn thing.
What was the 9 and 4 again?
9 and 4 is what Kiiko says. I still say 7 and 5. It used to be 7 and 5. T11, 12, 7 and 5. That was the old combination. Kiiko now says T9 and T4. I still go with 7 and 5, personally. For hypothyroid, but the other thing what I want to show you is that these are the places where the spine curves shift, and therefore it doesn't matter. Okay. What's hypothyroidism?
Thyroid is not working.
Yes, I know.
Underproduction of
Very good.
thyroxine. Underproduction of thyroxine.
Okay, you two can get together, go to another class, that's fine. Chinese-wise, make up a
Yang
Chinese
deficiency.
When I poach, you can get there. So, I mean, generally, if we want to make up something without organs, because you can argue, is it spleen yang, spleen yang, is it heart yang, is it kidney? Because for me, it's in the kidney domain, I told you, because of the channel. Okay? But you can say it's a function of spleen, you can say it's a function of kidneys, you can say it's a function of heart. I mean, any one of them. So, but it's a yang deficiency. Or that's my R, if we make up a TCM. Okay. Yang meaning if I want to activate the yang, what do I want to do? I want to activate the do. This is my method of activating the do. This is also my method on the back of doing that equivalent of the kidney 6 inner yin, mushu, yubi. It's my equivalent of like going,
You're
Get
strengthening
it,
and then
yes.
elongating. Yes.
yeah, with an upward sense. Okay, so that's why almost everyone in my clinic gets this. Take out the UB, take these 3 out, UB35 and UB32. That's like, you want to like blindly turn them over, do it, bye-bye, go to the other room, you can totally do it in my opinion. Okay?
It's like the heaven man earth sort of. That's,
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Now, I would add maybe something here. So in order to add something here, what I want to do is, can you activate this right shoulder that's difficult for you and tell me where the pain is? Can you create pain right now?
Well,
Sorry, I should have checked.
In this position,
It's a hard
my left
position.
shoulder hurts.
Hmm?
The pain at the moment is in my left shoulder.
Okay, where is it?
It's in the joint. In
Okay. Can you activate it or can you
It's there
make
right
it
now.
worse? Yeah, but can you make it worse?
Just moving it is like more painful.
Okay. Moving, okay, stop. You moved it, Okay, good, stop. Okay, so let's finish the lift and see if it affects the shoulder.
That's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Can you pass me the jar? Baby food jars, very good for needles. Just sterilize them before. So because you know we never finished the first lecture, so much of the time we spent on lecturing, I didn't concentrate enough on her to kind of go, okay, how did our first treatment affect the shoulder, the front treatment? So I forgot about the shoulder and the arm. Okay. How's this shoulder, the left shoulder?
It's gone.
Good.
So what made you...
One
What made
patient's
you
laugh
choose
like
that?
that. Finishing the lift. Have you seen Kiiko this year? Wasn't she obsessed with 216?
She was.
Right. I told you, instead of 216, unless it's autoimmune granted, now I have glucose, which again I'll let go. I prefer on the side rather than in the center, just me.
Yeah. How did the
That's
lift
a
though
silly-
get to the arm?
Ah, okay, that's what you're asking.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what I was asking.
Sure, no problem, I'll explain. When you don't, thank you. When you don't have a lift, when you don't have core, the other stuff to you later. When you don't have this going on, everything in the body is going to go berserk. Okay, because, and what's going to happen, people will have, for example, low back pain because they're holding themselves up here. If you don't have the lift, you're going to need to hold yourself up from somewhere because you can't do it from what the Pilates people will call your core. Okay, and it's not about a six-pack. Okay, so when you don't have this energetics here, just very light, just lifting the perineal floor. It's not becoming Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, you don't have to speak like that, okay? This, what will happen is they're going to try and hold themselves from anywhere else they can. They're going to hold themselves from the extremities. Of course it's going to hurt. So in order to release this, if I give them a sense of you've got this can let go. So many times people come for back pain and you needle around here, and this goes because you're releasing the tension here and you're hoping that the body can get the message. Let go of this, they'll pick up the energetics of this, not the muscularity, just the energetics of the awareness of the pelvic floor. You're trying to force them to come back to the place we do not talk about that in one. Okay, so. The opposite, when I'm giving them the lift, this can let go too. So no, this is not a trick for all shoulders. I'm not going to claim, but this is a way to address giving them the chin-jing that they should have, the lightness, easefulness, and sturdiness that they should have, so they're not holding on for dear life elsewhere. Okay. Now, I may have had to do more things for the shoulders. I may find that I did. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't pay enough attention up front to look into it. Make sense? Any other questions?
Is there any relation to like kidney 6 being the opening the yin heel vessel or something that lifts?
Yes. The yin. Okay. Chow means to heel, to send down. That's why you have to send the heel down. Okay, to do it. But okay. Yin Chow starts with kidney 6, takes you through, right? Takes you through the inner, and where does it go from there? It goes into the perineum. It's exactly what I described before. Then it comes out, and it comes out at stomach 9, which is called Zhen Yin, welcome humanity. Some people say it goes through stomach 12, possibly. I'm not, I can't, because it's different books. Comes in, I believe they say, Choi also, many takes. But main thing is, it comes into stomach 9, welcome myself being human. But before it did that, where did it go? Okay, perineum, the diamide, the diaphragm, the chest, into welcome myself to be human, to where? To clear vision, UV1. That's why we call it the meditation channel. What we did was we shed light and we activated all the obstacles of life, okay? So where are the obstacles of life? We have one here, in between our legs. Now, we're all post-60s children, right? So we don't think we have that. So instead, no, come on, we've all slept around way more than the people 70 years ago. It's just the nature of our culture. Culturally, we're not Victorian ladies. We don't do this, okay? So we think we've released the obstructions, or we don't think of obstructions in the daimai, in the perineal floor. Okay? Because culturally, we don't deal with it. Like any other culture hasn't dealt with it, we just deal with it differently. Okay? But we all know that there is an obstruction mentally for all human beings with sexuality. That's just the nature. Because we're social beings, it's the nature of society, unfortunately. Where else is there? Nobody walks around and tells you what they really feel. Okay? So the other place where we have obstructions is in our hearts, or our chest, or the diaphragm is the other obstruction thing. This is part of the lift, is looking at the fact that we have 3 diaphragms. Perineal diaphragm, a chest diaphragm, and a throat diaphragm, like in the vocal cords, so we don't express who we are. Okay? Because society tells us that we should be like this, not like this. This is what Taoism is all about. Let go of social constraints and allow yourself to be your own true nature, whatever the hell that's going to be. And if it means throwing up at the dinner table, from a Taoist perspective, that's totally fine. From a Confucian perspective, that is the most disgusting thing you can do, and especially if your grandmother was there. Says you don't do that. Okay? So the Yin Chao channel shows you these obstructions in life, and you should be able. It's a thing that says if you shed light on yourself, you can overcome them, so you can welcome the person that you really are. Welcome human, stomach mind, so that you can have clear vision, a real understanding, and you can offer the world who you are. We say the eyes are the doorways of the soul, the windows of, you both see the world more clearly and you project to the world more clearly who you are. You allow yourself to be you, as opposed to be, yes, of course, our family is very rich and we have lots of money and I've never been a failure ever in my life and everything is fabulous. That's what society wants you to do. That's the game that we're all playing in some, in smaller amounts or larger amounts. We all do. We're all stuck in that. Be good. Don't let anybody see it. And I'm not talking about Victorian ladies, and I'm not talking about New England or England or any. Believe me, people in the Middle East, people in Italy, we're all doing it in different ways. These are games. This is inherent. The Chinese, they have their own ways of, so they have the whole filial duties. They have other methods of doing it. Every culture will find its own method. So that's what that, in my understanding, relates to. Okay. Now, so it's very, you're asking me to explain to you things that in your body will take a huge amount of cultivation. It takes a lot of effort. But if you put both heels on the floor and sit on UB36, don't sit on your butt, sit in the front. Okay? And what I want you to do is breathe and feel your breath. Send your breath as far down as you can. Try and make your breath come from the heel, from kidney 6. It's not easy. And you can do abdominal breathing, or you can keep the lift in the abdomen. The lower abdomen may or may not come out. It's up to you. It doesn't matter. But can you feel the breath going to the heel? And chances are most of you will say no. But over time, you may be able to do it. So there's a Taoist saying that says that the breath starts in the heels. And I'll show you in a moment when she's off the table. I'll show you that it's possible. Actually, except you'll have to grovel on the floor to feel it. So it'll be easier for me to show you when I'm on the table. It'll be more. You can feel the breath on the heel for someone who's worked on creating that. Okay. Now, I'm not going to tell you that every single person can create everything in their body. There's lots of stuff I can't create in my body. But what I'm trying to suggest to you is find acupuncture in your own body, make it your own. The first thing that I learned from Jeffrey was, he came and he said, this is Jeffrey Yuen, sorry. He said, I'm not here to teach you protocols, though he does that nowadays, but it used to be 20-something years ago, he didn't. And he said, I want you to understand, to create your own resonance with Chinese medicine. How do you do that? And every one of us is going to have a different way of doing it. Some of us can do it in our body because we have certain facilities, certain connections with our body, between our brain and our body, and some people don't have it, and that's okay. Some people can go out to the fields and look at herbs and say, this one, bitter, spicy, slightly cold, goes to the lung and whatever. You know, they can do that. They can relate to plants that way. You know, we all have different strengths. But the question for me is like, how do you develop your strengths? Cultivate them. Stomach 36, look at any book. Is there anything this damn point doesn't do? I know, seriously. It's everything is stomach 36. Now, I can give you other reasons. I'll tell you my reasons for it. I don't use this point. I hate it. Because I went to acupuncture school like everybody else, and like everybody did stomach 36. It was incredibly boring. How come you can't produce the effects that stomach 36 is supposed to produce? What's not, you know, like, these books say it does blah, blah, blah. You do it and it doesn't work. What's the story? So you go to your teachers and say, oh, you have wrong technique. But no, it's not wrong, you have wrong technique. You may have wrong technique, I don't know. What you don't have is you've never cultivated yourself. You never created the resonance between stomach 36 and this particular understanding of life. Chinese medicine is a philosophical medicine. It's not use this for this. It's how do I understand life? And that's going to project on what I do in the patient. Li Shizhen says, this is the classical pulse. This Li Shizhen, there's Wang Shuhe's classical pulse, and then you have Li Shizhen, you know, maybe 1,000 years later, but we mostly read Li Shizhen nowadays. He says the pulse is slow if it's less than 4 beats per second, per breath, sorry, no seconds here. Or it's rapid if it's more than 4 beats per breath. We don't say 60 or 90 like we do nowadays with a clock per minute. Whose breath is he talking about?
Patients.
We have 2 opinions, that's good. Thankfully there aren't any more, but it's good that we have 2. He's actually talking about the practitioners, and I'll tell you why. Because if the practitioner is breathing rapidly, the pulse may be only less than 1 breath per breath. So which is going to happen exactly with a practitioner also. I happen to be someone with a slow breath, especially if I'm taking pulse. Everybody, to me, according to this theory, is going to be a rapid pulse. Okay, it's not fair. But what Li Shizhen is stating, he's really not, I mean, obviously I have to adjust for some objectivity, some. But what Li Shizhen is saying is Chinese medicine is not an objective medicine, it's a subjective medicine. I'm judging the patient, I'm judging the world according to my lenses. That's the inherent statement of pulse diagnosis. That's why there is no one way to take a pulse and say it's wiry, it's the breed, it's this, it's that, 21 qualities, whatever. There's only what am I feeling? That's all there really is. And make the story from it. Yes, you're reading 21 pulse and say, oh, there's a hollowness, therefore it may mean there's not enough blood. There is a blah blah. You can, but you're making up the story according to how you understand the world. It's a philosophical medicine. So everything we do is according to who we are. I can't change it. There's no machine in Chinese medicine. Well, I know some people have weird machines to check the, you know, and then you can needle these points and the machine says you're much more balanced. But I don't work that way. I'm working with what I'm sensing, what I'm judging, what I think of this person. You know, it's inherent in the medicine. Until somebody decides, no, you have to have a blood test before you do acupuncture. And the blood test will tell you what points to needle. There will be a time when that will happen. Any other questions?
So that
Yes?
lift up. Is
Sorry?
The lift up, like
In the occiput?
point,
Yeah.
is kind of, that's an energetic. lift.
Yeah, and it can be anything. It can be gallbladder 20, UB10, anywhere in between, further out. The further out, remember why? Coming from the outside inwards. So that's why I don't prefer to 16. I prefer the further out, better for me, my personal way of thinking of it. So that's why I go to all the way to the mastoid.
And then would you expect that lift to sort of trigger the body into that, or to last? Or
Sometimes, well, you don't know. It all depends on that person's capacity to integrate that information and what else she did. I mean, this is not a standalone. This, it's with other things.
Yeah.
I might have done it from the front, like, when she was lying down. I mean, it's if I give the message to the body, does it have a chance to pick up? Can we have you sit up? How are you feeling?
Really good, thanks.
Okay. How's your shoulder? Both of them?
Yeah.
Because you were doing how's the pain in the hand?
The right arm's fine. The left arm is still there a little bit.
Okay. This thing here.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Uncross your legs. Okay. Let's see if we can give her a little more lift. It's okay. Mushu. Do you arm?
Mushu.
Yeah, that's easier.
Okay. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, lie down. Face up. So you see, we apparently didn't finish enough of a lift. The pillow is behind her.
No, sorry. Sorry, I was wrong.
It's this arm, right?
Yeah.
Now, for some reason, even I told you I prefer to start on the left with Mushu. For some reason, I have no explanation. I prefer the right, and I think it's just a question of it's convenient. It's much easier for me to do this than to do this. So you'll see, I'll change my body posture, so it's a little bit easier for me. Okay, lift the arm, do the arm. How are we doing?
Yeah, it's easier.
How much is left?
It's gone.
It's gone. Hold on. Truly gone?
Yeah.
Nothing where?
Only when I actually rotate in.
Gallbladder 22.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Rotate.
Yeah, it's gone. No.
Gallbladder 22 is, and I needle it down towards the table. One of the best points for all sorts of arm issues. First of all, you're getting some of the rotators while you're doing it. The other thing is, it's okay? You don't have to pull an arm shield. Okay. They say spleen 21 is supposed to be pain all over. Like, have you ever had this experience? Like, bullshit. Like spleen 21 for pain and blah, blah, pain and blah. Everyone I talk to, including the Chinese, they say they don't understand the statement. Spleen 21 good for, But gallbladder 22 is a different story. It's a little higher, and it really gets into the arm. The other thing is it's a continuation of the side. Even though spleen 21 should be also, somehow gallbladder 21 is just so much more powerful. The other thing what it does is, okay, what is pain? Okay. No, seriously, Chinese, there's a saying, Zhang Zi Bu Tong, yeah, you never heard?
Yeah.
Okay. Stagnation creates pain, remove the stagnation, pain is gone, right? Okay. If you move how do you move stagnation? You move the chi. Okay, your chi has to move. If the chi doesn't move, there's stagnation. If there's stagnation, there's pain, right? That's like basic, lesson 1 in Chinese medicine. What is chi?
Energy.
Energy, okay. Where does energy come from? How do we move energy? Without needles.
Move. Move.
Move. Pretty good? No. That's
Breathe.
it. Breathe. Yeah. Chi and prana, aren't they a little bit similar? I mean, you could say that they're the same understanding from just different languages. Okay? So there has to be, most people don't move the ribs when they breathe. They're breathing here. That they don't breathe. They don't have the connection to the brain. So gallbladder 22 is separating the intercostal space to create more prana, more movement. Therefore, besides the fact, yes, it's connecting to the arm, but it's another like great helper for this whole, see, going not beyond, but going pre-organ diagnosis. What's going to be my diagnosis? It should be yin-yang. Okay, the theory is there's yin-yang, from within yin-yang there's wu-xing yin-yang. Okay, prior to 5-element diagnosis, which is very cute and very nice, and there's nothing wrong with it, and I certainly do, I do kidney, blah, blah, blah. There is this, do you have an interaction of yin-yang? Do you have life in you? Is there any movement? And I don't give a damn what organ you're in. I care about, is there a liveliness in you? And how can I activate that, the Qing Jing in you? That's what I care about first. Then I move on to, okay, adrenal, okay, lung, okay, but can I create in this body, or is it going to stay like a stone going down? And if I can create a liveliness, the rest is not going to, I don't have to direct the rest as much, because just creating that airiness, that fluffiness in the body is the first thing that matters. So gallbladder 22 is one of those points that has a good chance of doing it because of location. Now, yes, gallbladder 22 is also the meeting of the 3-armed yin sinews. It just happens to be, oh, how convenient. But according to that theory, small intestine 18 should be a fabulous point for arms, because it's the meeting of 3 young sinews of the arm. Well, I haven't seen anybody be able to use small intestine 18 and do arm problems. So there's got to be something else in GB22 that's different, than just the theory. So I'm saying, I think it's location, it's muscular. It's obvious because you're really getting the whatever, spinatus, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's also, it's the expansion of the rib. It's allowing things to move. It's allowing the chi to move. You look puzzled, Mr. Lawrence, over there.
No. This thing is going in.
Going in at one ear, going out the other. And you're trying to close one of them so it won't go out. Any questions?
I was just thinking it was a neat trick if you can do it. Close one and keep it there.
Well, according to Suen, you can. Yeah, it would be a very neat trick, wouldn't it? Yes.
When you needle these points, are you needling them with a kind of fascia, musculoskeletal kind of thing in mind, or are you literally thinking of, okay, I'm affecting the meridian directly here, or is it, the what? Yeah.
No, I'm trying to think.
So I sort of phased out there.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't phasing out. I was trying to think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because when you say musculoskeletal, I'm thinking, are you talking about needle depth? Are you talking about? So I'll tell you some things about my own needling.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I can. I'm literally thinking of breaking down any gumminess. That's literally what I'm thinking, or what I'm mechanically hoping to do. However, now, needle depth for me, this mushu is fairly deep. I have almost the full inch in, but it's mushu. It's like, it's got some omelets in it or whatever, it's there's stuff there. You could conceivably, generally I'm pretty much under the skin, just under the skin, but because the connective tissue, I believe and I understand Nagano said, acupuncture is connective tissue modality. It affects the connective tissue. I don't like the people who needle deep into the muscle. Trigger points, yes, you can do that. But you're not, to me, that's not trigger point's not acupuncture. That's like dry needling, whatever you want to call it. So for me, acupuncture, I was taught the same way that everybody else was taught, at least I think, the TCM. The deeper, the stronger, the better, the machoer you, the bigger person you are, gallbladder 30, 3-inch needle. Excuse me, it's a little much for me. So, in fact, I was taught in school, we had to do UB1 on ourselves, 1 inch in. Okay, that was, and if you didn't come to that class, he would say, you didn't come last class, you have to do it. And you can imagine people didn't like it. So, I had a macho teacher. What can I say? I'm not into this first of all, what I do needling-wise, I take the needle, I don't rotate, even though that was the style I was taught originally. By the way, rotating, I see people, this is just my personal crap, and it doesn't matter because I don't teach, this is nothing to do with my style. I don't know how they do it, but they rotate both. These fingers stabilize the needle. Can I have the pen? Thank you. The index and the pericardium finger stabilize the needle, and the rotation happens from the thumb, not from these fingers. Otherwise, the needle is not stable, my personal opinion. Then I try and make my hand as light as possible. So look at large intestine 4, it's open. This is reducing. Closing large intestine 4, tightening large intestine 4 is considered a reducing technique. We are always concerned with the deficiency. It comes from a phrase, always look for the deficiency, tonify the deficiency. Yes, you may need to get rid of excess, but the root, there's always a deficiency. Why do you have excess dampness? Because you have a deficiency somewhere. Now, so yes, I could do this. That was my original training, but it's not. Do you feel anything when I do this? Thank you. Good. What I do is up and down. Kiiko says like little old lady shaking. Okay, just tick 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 tick. Very light in the hand, and I'm just opening myself here. I'm kind of leaning into her and opening and creating my lift. And with my hand, I'm trying to see, can I feel any gummy? Can I break it down? Is there any like little beads in there or something? And I'm literally breaking them down. Okay, that's my intention. Okay. The rest I can't, so I don't know, different people have different ideas, so I don't have like huge fabulous technique about, all these things, the clockwise and the anti-clockwise and the blah blah. But the only other thing I would say, I do take, there's a phrase in Yang Jitsu, the Genjo Datam, it's a 1601 text, the Great Compendium, and there's a phrase in there, needling at perpendicular 90 degrees is damaging to the upright chi. Now, I have a number of problems with that phrase in a sense, because I'm not exactly sure what the upright chi exactly is, and I don't know how I damage it or don't damage it, and I'm certainly using different needles than somebody from 1600. However, Yang Jitsu is one of the big figures in Chinese medicine. He's the person that connects between the ancients and the modern. In fact, that's where the opening points for the 8 extra channels come from, is Yang Jitsu. Okay? So, because he is so revert, I generally try not to needle at 90 degrees. If you look at this, this is going slightly upwards. Okay? Now, I prefer slight angle, usually with a meridian flow, except, even if I want 90 degrees, I'll do slight angle. For example, my spleen 9 is, I needle totally, with the skin upwards, because that's the direction of the channel, going upwards. But spleen 6, you can say you can needle 90 degrees, but I prefer slightly upwards, just in case Yang Jitsu is watching. Upright chi will do something weird. So, but that's just me. Everyone's good. So that's all I can say about, but generally the depth itself is very, I'm just trying to get to a point where I'm feeling a little bit, there's a little glitch. And then I peck the glitch and let it go.
And that's when you have a result, and you would...
Yeah, you can just insert the needle sometimes and get results. I mean, you can put a press stack in and get results. You can press with your hand. Okay, this whole idea, it's very complex, because people tell you should get the chi. That's what the Chinese say, you should get the chi. What do? They take a needle, big, hopefully. Do you get it? That's not getting a chi. What is chi? Now, from another perspective, chi is intention. where the chi goes, the blood goes. But also, kind of interesting, where the mind goes, the chi goes. Where the chi goes, the mind goes. If I do this, where's the chi? Because her mind, I mean, she has to be like totally insensitive for her mind not to go to where I'm touching. Touching is getting the chi. Why do they have to feel electrical? Who says that that chi is a better chi than her mind being here? So you don't have to do this whole electrical sensation, and there are very few people who can really direct the chi. It's very, there's a whole technique called Dao Chi, lead the chi. So people do that, for example, pericardium 6. It's a common thing. You can needle, I'll show you some. No, because you have pain on the side, I don't want to do it to you. You can actually get them to feel like a wave. It's not electrical. You get the electrical, you're done. You're finished. You can get like a wave of water or air coming up the arm, going, and if you're good at it, and most people can get it up to the elbow, then you can get it past the elbow, and you can trace the pericardium channel with that. Okay, and all you're doing is even technique, just rotating them. That's, so yes, so here's chi that's not electrical. It's not the same kind of, there's many kinds of chis. So, many kinds of cheese. There's Gouda and there's cheddar. So the Chinese, they like Munster cheese. I like Gouda. It's lighter, fluffier. So your choice. But I can tell you that in this technique, all you need to do is light.
And you use very thin needles.
Yeah, and I leave them in because, then it keeps the stimulation and whatever, but I'm not trying to get huge stimulation. It's just that, you can do it just by pressure, but you're going to stand there like, how long? I mean, do you want to sit here for 20 minutes with a patient? And, but there are people who can do this, do the whole thing in a manual modality, but get a needle in, goodbye, you're done. But you can do this whole thing very differently. In fact, Andy Harrop was a massage therapist. I mean, he's the one who is the big Kiiko person in the UK. That's what he used to do before he did acupuncture. Was totally manual. So there are definitely people who are willing to do it. I don't have that kind of patience. So it's like needle, bye-bye. Any other questions?
Would you, in the rare cases you said you've reduced points, would you then angle?
Bladder or gallbladder angle. So bladder points often UB60, I'll needle upwards. Gallbladder 39, which is another one of my favorite points, I needle upwards.
Against the channel.
Against the channel, yeah. I usually do it on the other side, face down. But not all bladder channels have to go against. But okay. So let's look at liver. How many people do any form of herbs here at all? Okay. You've heard of a formula called Xiao Yao San? Okay, sorry. Okay, it's going to be a little hard to explain. Okay, but I'll try. Thank you. Let's have you sit up and see how you're doing. And then we'll do that little lecture on the excess deficient on the liver, and then we'll have lunch.
Because it's really good.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. So, with liver, okay, there's a very popular formula that we say is a liver chi stagnation formula, but it has not you can say there's some liver chi stagnation herbs in it, but it's really, it tonifies the blood. Okay, but it has mint in it, so it spreads things out, and it has chai hu is blue pleuron, thank you, which is considered, the category of blue pleuron is actually release exterior. So we can't really say it's, but everybody talks about it as if it's liver chi stagnation herb. It's to release stagnation in the liver, to release excess in the liver, and you see it herbally, very strongly. That's why it's easier to talk about in herbs. Every formula that has something to do with releasing the liver, taking away excess liver yang rising, so they have things like gardenia or like heavy-duty dredgers, okay? There is always going to be peony or dangwei in that formula. You have to protect the blood of the liver. The liver is, what does the liver do? The liver stores the blood, exactly. Even in Western medicine, there's a huge amount of blood in the liver. Now, in the Western sense, the equivalent of the blood, besides the fact that it is a bloody organ, besides that, it's an organ, the storages of glycogen, which is the energy of the blood. So there's a lot of similarities very clearly right there and then. So if the liver stores the blood, it's like a sponge. Those of you who are not vegetarian, excuse the, it's a little bit gross, but you know what livers look like, right? It's like this blah thing. It's like a sponge. Take a sponge, and I don't know if you can do that in England because the weather here may not allow you to do it. You take a sponge, but no, take your sponge and put it on your radiators. Dry it out completely, okay, even in the winter. When it's dry, when you touch the sponge, it feels thorny a little bit, like it's not nice and soft. The liver should be soft. It should be filled with blood. It should be soft. When there's not enough blood, meaning it's a deficient, what's going to happen to the liver? It's going to contract and become thorny, and that's your excess. So the excess and deficient in liver are always you can have only deficiency, but you can't just have only excess. You may show excess, but there is a deficiency underneath, and you've got to protect the blood. You can't just dredge the liver. It may not matter in acupuncture so much, but it's going to matter a lot with herbs. Okay? So it gives you a treatment principle. So for example, if she had liver deficiency, we did liver 1, but if she had liver excess, she said, ouch. And say she had, by the way, I had hepatitis C. Okay, not wishing it like that. But the people have clear liver damage, like I had radiation. Chemo, something like that. There's a physical liver damage. They go, ouch. Okay. Nagano's treatment, Nagano, by the way, did a lot of atomic bomb victims. Okay. So he came up with this combination of kidney 7, right side, kidney 7, spleen 7, heart 3, pericardium 4, which is 3 fingers below heart, pericardium 3. Okay, so it's not your pericardium 4 that we used to, but it's here. Where does that come from? There's a chapter, I believe it's chapter 71 of the Nanjing, or 72 maybe, I'm not sure. I think it's 72. Where the chapter beforehand talks about the 5 elements, you know the Korean style thing, tonified grandma, like reduce son, tonify mother, reduce son, and then you can do something with the grandson, grandmother, blah, blah, blah. And it says the controlling cycle. And it says, the chapter afterwards says, so according to theory, lung metal is the controller of liver wood, right? Is that correct? Because it goes metal, water, wood. Therefore, metal is grandpa of wood. Therefore, it's the controller. Yeah?
Also across the coastline. Controlling.
Yeah, well, that to me, instead of doing this, I'd say grandfather. It's just a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
So it's the controller of wood. Metal is supposed to control wood. I mean, you think, just take the element itself. Metal chops the wood. Okay, so it's control. So if wood is out of control, metal should control it. What the Nanjing author is saying is not true. He says that's correct. Using that principle is correct for the other channels, the other organs. But then he says, the chapter 72, it says something like, when the eastern mountains will not overcome the western mountains. East means liver and west means lung. When the western mountains will not overcome the eastern mountains, then the lung cannot control the liver. Metal can. Why is that? Is the question. Okay? And then he says, instead, and he gives you this incredible contradiction, he says, when the liver is in excess and the lung cannot control it, you must tonify the mother, meaning the liver is deficient, and reduce the son, meaning it's excess. Meaning he's saying it's because liver does not have pure excess. If it had pure excess, you would just reduce the son, meaning fire. So Nagano came with this idea. Kidney 7 is a kidney point, obviously. Spleen 7 for us is a spleen point that affects the kidney. We use it for water accumulations, for edema. We use it for ear problems, that's kidney, obviously. Edema is also kidney because it's water. Okay. We also use it for excess bleeding. Any sort of stop bleeding is spleen 7. for us. But spleen 7 for us is a point that even though it's on the spleen channel, is still relating to the kidney. So kidney 7, spleen 7 on the right side, and then that's tonify mother, and then so-called reduced sun, which you really cannot do because we don't reduce the heart. Heart 3, pericardium 4. That's his combination for hepatitis, or chemo, or radiation, liver damage. You know, the people who like say, oh, I have cirrhosis, I have blah, blah, you know. So you can see the principle in liver is always, excess and deficiency are always mixed. Can't be alone. Any other questions? Because I know there's the heel business, we can do that later. So we should probably have a break before you all fall totally dead. Yeah?